Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Time's over. These old heads wanting to become boxing champions in 2025. Time's over. Get over it. The ship has sailed. Now, welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. Make sure you like and subscribe. Leave that donation for that fried rice. Fried rice, wings, and wonton soup. My head tripping and shit, right? But look, man, it's over. Now, you got guys who have been around the sport for quite some time, and they still feel that they have an opportunity to go and become champion. Starting off in the heavyweight division. Just saw Andy Ruiz, still out here talking about trying to become a champion again, trying to work his way back into a title opportunity. Who, what, when, where, why, how is Andy Ruiz going to do that, people? He went life and death, really lost to Gerald Big Baby Miller. So what do these guys think? That they're still the fighters they were from 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago? It's not how that works. Let's just look at the guy he beat, who has been able to stay active and keep his name out there, Anthony Joshua. Another one feels he's going to become champion again. Who is Anthony Joshua going to beat that has a belt right now? Okay, now you can say, hey, if he fights Usyk, there's an opportunity. He's not going to get that Usyk fight. I think the Secret Society may want him to get that fight, but he's not going to get it, okay? It looks like all roads are leading to Anthony Joshua against Tyson Fury. They're going to make a whole lot of money, but no title on the line. But Anthony Joshua's not beating Usyk, okay? I just don't think he beats him. Usyk has slowed a little bit. Joshua has slowed considerably. Then he got Dubois. He just lost to Dubois. So unless Usyk retires and drops the belts and somehow Chisora fights for a vacant title, I just don't see somebody and Chisora fight for a vacant title and win. I just don't see AJ or Andy Ruiz being able to get in here and clip any of these guys who really, in my opinion, are on their way to becoming champions. Now, you can take a look, okay, Usyk and Dubois, right? I mean, Usyk is the ultimate, and Dubois is probably fighter of the year, you know, as far as someone who's been able to resurrect his career. But once you get beyond that, you got to take a look at who's really out there and who's really getting busy and who's going to be probably getting title shots. You got to look at Zhang. You know, Zhang has a very good chance of on winning a fight and becoming the champion again. Although he's 41, Zhang has low miles. And Zhang is a southpaw, highly skilled, super hand speed and freakish power. Okay, so Zhang always stands a chance, and he doesn't seem to have slowed. Conditioning is not the best. He's like, if you're playing Super Mario Brothers, what's that shit my sons like to play? Where they're fighting. Anyway, he's like Wario. Whole lot of power, but not that much stamina. You know what I'm saying? Then you got Martin Bakole. Martin Bakole, I think, is definitely going to become a champion in 2025 if he gets an opportunity. But whoever they put in front of him, I think he's just going to brush him off. I think he's going to get in and just clip him. He's just going to dust him. Simple. Okay? Now you talk about Andy Ruiz, Anthony Joshua. You got them beating Zhang? You got them beating Bakole? Of course not. Then this talks about Deontay Wilder returning. Look, if he returns, I hope they pick his opponent wisely. But talking about he wants to become a champion again, let's be real. It's over, man. What Deontay Wilder brought us was amazing. What Anthony Joshua brought us was amazing. Andy Ruiz brought us some excitement, was amazing. Out of those three, Joshua probably still has some legs left on him. What I mean by legs is he probably has a couple years left in boxing, but I just don't think he's going to get back to that level of becoming a champion unless Usyk retires, drops the belts, and I'm sure Eddie Hearn and Turki Al-Sheikh will line him up to fight for a title opportunity. Then you got guys like Joseph Parker, who's still young. Been around for a while, but still young. More than likely, Joseph Parker could go on and win a title. I think he loses to Dubois, but that's just me. I don't think Dubois just steamrolls him, but I think after around round 6 or 7, Dubois just Parker just can't keep up. But Parker can fight, and he's smart and he sets traps. So if Dubois gets over anxious, Parker will win. It's quite simple. He will win the fight. Now, this thing about Derek Chisora and Derek Chisora going on to win the title, y'all got to stop this, man. I know Derek Chisora is ranked number 14 by the WBO. He's ranked number 8 by the IBF, which I just think is crazy that they have Derek Chisora ranked. But he's got a couple wins. Again, like that one against Joe Joyce. Whatever you want to think about that. But I just don't see Derek Chisora going on to win a title. I just don't think it's within his reach. You come down here to 175 and people are talking. Bring it. Hold on a second. That's my son. Okay. Then you come down to the other weight divisions. Look, I just don't know what guys like Billum Smith have left at 175. I'm just not sure they're going to be able to go out here and pick up a title again. You got Zudo Ramirez, who's firing on all cylinders now. You got Jaya Patel, who's getting busy. But for me, when I start looking at 175, cruiserweight, 200 pounds, I'm just not so sure some of them guys who've been around for a while can go and win a title. Now, I will tell you, Badu Jack is still holding firm at cruiserweight with that WBC strap. I think if Badu Jack fights any of these guys out here who are firing on all cylinders, I think he loses. Badu Jack's been around for a while. He's got a lot of miles on him. I just don't think Badu Jack wins. But, he got the right connections, and he's holding that WBC strap hostage. But nonetheless, there aren't any fighters in the heavyweight division who've been around forever who just happen to be holding on to a title. Tyson Fury was one who was holding on to a title for a while, and he didn't want to let go of that WBC strap. But Turk Al-Sheikh gave him the kind of money where he couldn't say no, and he ended up fighting Usyk and losing it. But at 175, Badu Jack, I don't know what the deal is there, but he ain't letting it go. Now, when you come down to 168 pounds, let's just understand a few things here, man. These guys at 168 pounds are monsters, man. I don't think Yardy, he already got, tore out the frame by Bertabiev. Jean Pascal, some reason people are saying this is going to be Jean Pascal's year. He wants to come back in 2025, and he wants to win the title. As long as Bertabiev or Bivol have those titles, ain't nobody beating them guys, man, at 175. I know you got Benavidez, you got Morrell going to fight, but they have a chance. But they're not old heads. They've been fighting Benavidez been fighting for a while now, but he started very young, and he's still young. Morrell started a little bit later, but he was a standout amateur. But don't for one second think, if you sit Bertabiev and Bivol aside, because they're the ultimate, right? But then you come and you want to look at what's next. These other guys at 175 pounds, I'm not so sure how well they do against Morrell and David Benavidez. I'm just being real with you. So I just don't know if some of these guys who've been around for a while are going to be able to come out here and get the type of wins they want, especially if they put themselves in position for a title. Now, you can look at 168 pounds, and I'm telling you what, Canelo, his skill set is the exception. You got to give Canelo credit. No matter who you think wins, if he fights Crawford, we could have that fun conversation all day. Canelo is the man. Chin, power, skill set, timing. He still has some speed, but he's not the combination puncher he once was. But Canelo is the ultimate. He's the ultimate, man. Okay? And he may be the exception to the rule of someone who's old, because although he's relatively young, man been boxing since he's been, 15? So he's an old head in the sport. But I do think even Canelo, depending on who he fights, he could find himself, man, losing those titles and just having a tough time trying to get back in position to win, But right now he looks like he still has more than enough to continue to dominate the 168-pound division. But I think you got guys like Christian and Billy, hey, close the door. Close the door. You guys are too loud. You got guys like Christian and Billy. Hey, that guy's probably going to become a champion. You got Diego Pacheco. He's probably going to become a champion. And you got, what's his name, man? The Beck Bully. I think he's going to mess around and become a champion. But the bottom line is you got some killers out there. But this thing about Sergey Derevyanchenko, he's gonna come back in 2025, and this is gonna be his year. Derevyanchenko is not the same. He is not the same. Y'all gotta stop that. I love Derevyanchenko. That guy, in a couple of fights, I think he should have won. They jerked him, but he started boxing late, and look at how far he took his career. But I just saw him against Billy. He's just not the same fighter. Even though he's tough, he pushed through some adversity, fought the rest of that fight. I don't think he was 100%. One of his arms was messed up. But I'm going to tell you right now, Derevyanchenko is a guy who I just don't think the old head will become a champion. All right? So let's just be real. Now you got 160 pounds. To me, Christian Bank Jr. is an old head. He's been doing it for a long time. Erislandy Lara, he's holding on to a strap. He ain't never going to let that shit go. He's being very particular about who he fights. But to think that if Lara fights Alan Canuli, Lara's going to beat him. To think if Chris Eubank Jr. goes up to fight for a title against Carlos Adames, Alan Canuli, he'll beat him. If he fought Erislandy Lara, I don't know how that fight would go. But again, you got two old heads battling out. But if you get Nursultanov to come out here and pick up the WBA strap off of Lara, ain't nobody beating those guys. So these old heads need to put some respect on these younger cats who's out here, man, who are doing the same things they did when they were younger. You know, dominating and being a threat. You come down to 154. You know, hey, we love Crawford. We love Crawford, but I'm gonna tell you, man, I don't know how much further Crawford can go if he chooses to continue fighting once a year, especially with him getting up there in age. I get it with the genetics. I get it with him being athletic. I get it with his lifestyle. I get it. I think Crawford brings everything to the table that you want in a fighter. I just had to be concerned about him being an old head now and trying to go in there and possibly fight. And I'm going to say this, man, Murtazaliev. Even stylistically, again, and I'm looking with him fighting once a year, to just think he can somehow come now and dust off the inactivity and the rust and get in there with Fundora if Fundora chooses to fight tall, to get in there with Bohachuk. If Bohachuk, you know, fights the way he fought Virgil Ortiz, and if Crawford again, coming off of inactivity. He fought Madrimov. That was a tough fight, but Crawford won the fight. There's no argument there from my end. But I'm just saying, another year inactivity, I just think, you know, Crawford holding on to that WBA strap, he got to be very smart with the way he's moving. But when you got guys like Erickson Lubin saying he's going to become a champion, who's Erickson Lubin going to beat to become a champion? Jamel Charlo talking about he's going to become a champion. Who's he going to beat coming off all that inactivity? To think he's going to walk into a fight with Murtazaliev to try to pick up that IBF strap? Hey, you hold your horses. Let's not take it to the stupid. Earl Spence coming to 154 to fight Fundora, new trainer, coming off of inactivity. Think he's going to get in there with 6'6", 87-inch reach Fundora and break him down and knock him out when Fundora can sit behind that jab and just totally break up all that scar tissue on Earl Spence and get another big victory like he did against Tim Tszyu? I just don't see it. And I will tell you, I think Virgil Ortiz is barely hanging on. And I don't think Virgil Ortiz is going to ever win a title. That's just, you know, my opinion. I know he's a WBC interim, but I don't think Virgil Ortiz is going to go much further. He's about to fight Madrimov, and this is the year where we're going to see Virgil Ortiz get knocked out cold. If he beats Madrimov, then they got to put respect on Virgil Ortiz's name. I just don't see it. I don't see it. Anyway, Tim Tszyu is another one. He's been around for a little while, and Tim Tszyu has 26 fights, 24 wins with 2 losses, but I'm not so sure that Tim Tszyu is going to be able to really get himself back in position to pick up any straps. You know, he's kind of like an old head, did some good work over there in Australia, came to the States, made a name for him, you know, made a name for himself in Australia, trying to, you know, build on the Tszyu name, his dad's name, and, you know, stars just didn't line up for him against Murtazaliev. But I even think for Tim Tszyu, kind of being looked at as an old head now, and him becoming a champion, I just don't see it's going to happen. At 147 pounds, look, There aren't too many old heads there, but if there is an old head there, I think you're talking about Mario Barrios, who happens to have a WBC strap. But Barrios is trying to match make as intelligent as he can, because I think Barrios, who's been around for a while, was an amazing fighter and still is a great fighter, but he's not the same. And for those people who are saying Barrios, Tank Davis ruined Barrios, no. Some of y'all didn't even know who Barrios was until he fought Tank. Barrios was out here destroying people at 140 in wars, man, in wars. So Barrios is an amazing fighter. He's just at the tail end of his career. So I think he's to match himself very intelligently and try to get the most money possible. Because to think that he's going to come and beat a Sissoko or beat Boots Ennis, even if he was to fight a Mantis Stanley Eunice or Brian Norman Jr., even though he has a strap, I don't think he holds onto it too long, depending on who he fights. The best bet for him is to maybe fight Conor Benn. But Conor Benn can fight. But I'm not sure Conor Benn is showing the kind of power. We know he ain't the same fighter since the Clomiphene, right? But right now, I'm not so sure he's showing the kind of power that's necessary to get a win over a guy like Barrios. But bottom line is, once Barrios gets in there with somebody that has some life, I think he loses. I think Blair Cobb will beat him. I do. I think it's a good fight. Blair Cobb is quirky, but let me tell you why. Because they say because Mario Barrios has a lot of scar tissue. He swells up very easily now. They say Blair Cobb is, I can't remember who said it, is the hardest punching 147 pounder. The hardest punching 147 pounder. That's crazy. When I heard that, they said they sparred everybody. I can't remember who said it, because when they were saying it, my jaw dropped. I was like, what? But anyway, Blair Cobb is that guy, is what they say when it comes to power. It's the reason why he knocked out Adrian Broner's tooth. But we know Adrian Broner was washed up. But you just don't knock somebody's tooth out, haphazardly. You got to be some kind of power there to dislodge that tooth. You come down to 140, man. I don't even know what to think about 140, because I think if I'm gonna call somebody an old head, I may have to throw that title on Devin Haney. I don't know what Devin Haney can do to become a champion. I know that his dad wants to plan a big year for him in 2025, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm just not so sure Devin Haney can do it. I just don't think so. I think he's been exposed a little bit. We've always known if you catch him, you can hurt him. And not Ryan Garcia. People know, only reason he got hurt because Ryan was an ostrich. No, man. Linares touched him up. He was hurt by Jojo Diaz. And it's no surprise that his chin is questionable. So to think Devin Haney, if he's out there boxing and doing great, and then he gets touched by a Teofimo, if he gets touched by a Matias, if he gets touched by a Hitchens, or anybody, he's probably going to go down. Especially after what happened with Ryan Garcia. And that's no fault of Devin's, especially with everything that happened in the fallout with Ryan Garcia and Devin. But the bottom line is, I'm starting to see Devin as an old head. And as far as him becoming champion at 140 again, I just don't see it. I don't think he beats Teofimo. I definitely don't think he beats Hitchens. Puello, he sure as hell ain't beaten. And as far as Jose Valenzuela, I don't care what y'all say. Them guys coming out of that Robert Garcia gym, them guys are getting busy. So it is what it is, man. Who else out there? Catterall is getting busy. It's just a matter of time before he gets him a title. Duarte's getting busy. Duarte's about to fight Regis Prograis. Regis Prograis is another one. Old head. He ain't getting no title. Not getting a title at all. It's over for Regis Prograis. He is not getting a title. He won't become champion. He can want it. He can train as hard as he wants, but Regis Prograis, he's just missing a step. Punch resistance isn't quite there anymore. And he was winning that fight against Catterall. He just had some bad habits, man, them hands down. And he fights some of them killers at 140. He's going to get knocked out again. And at 135, man, I think that division's kind of up for grabs. But I still think Tank is a top dog. Lomachenko, look, he's an old head. He ain't coming back to become a champion, people. It's over for Lomachenko. You can say, oh, well, he has the IBF strap. Look, it's over. As soon as he fights somebody with some life, Lomachenko's going to lose. When you start contemplating retirement, it's not good. So I think he's going to retire. I think he's going to drop the belt, and somebody will fight for the vacant strap. Probably be Keyshawn Davis and Abduliev But I know Keyshawn Davis' name is being floated around for a couple big fights at 135, possibly going to 140. But nonetheless, Tevin Farmer, I think, has a better chance of beating some of these young guns than Lomachenko. Because Tevin Farmer seems to be fully locked in and could be getting a rematch with Zepeda. But that being said, I'm just not so sure some of these guys who've been doing this for a while, especially like Lomachenko, is going to be able to come back and dominate like what we're accustomed to seeing him do for years. And then once you get down to the lighter weight divisions, I mean, look, whatever, I ain't got time to talk about all that. But the bottom line is, these old heads out here still talking about they're going to become champions, or if they're holding on to a belt, they're going to go and unify. As soon as they go and try to unify, they're going to get knocked out. Or they'll lose. Probably knocked out. They got too many young guns out there in each weight division that's getting busy. And they're dangerous. So, good luck to everybody. I hope they have a great 2025 as far as all their milestones and all their ambitions and shit. But I'm be honest with you, I don't see it. I don't see it happening. That being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents, in the breeze.